Today we're going to be looking at Zombie Vill from SJ Trading Company, and we'll be going over the rules of the game and how much fun it is. I want to show you some interesting things about the packaging. First of all, the number of players is listed on here as from 2 to 10. You don't see that very often. 15-minute playing time, that's pretty amazing. Ages 7 and up, I think maybe once a 7-year-old had played a game a time or two, he might be able to recognize the cards by their images. Some other interesting notes about the packaging here is this clever little piece of silver. Yes, it's not a piece of tape, it actually is mounted to the drawer, if you will, of the game. Zombie Vill comes in a very clever box with a silver ribbon draw. The rules are very concise in a single sheet, and the cards are entombed in a very clever double layered box that looks much like a tomb might. One of the innovations of Zombie Vill is the scoring system. There is a clear winner, the person who rescues all of his tenants, and there is a clear loser, he who ends up with zombies in his hand at the end of the game. The remainder of the players are in a position of being participants, that is, they survived the encounter. Do note that you can have more than one participant and more than one loser, but you will only have one winner. Each player is assigned a location card, and the number of players determines which of the location cards are used. This determines how many additional cards they will start with and their zombie tolerance. The zombie cards are just that, zombies. Action cards make up 3 types: weapons, actions, and dynamite. The dynamite card is used in a 4 or more player game and has the capability of eliminating a location, that is, taking a player out of the game. When that player is removed from the game, they become a participant. The player deck is made up of pairs of characters from different occupations that are to be matched up during the game. Though the game provides 8 zombies, in games of 4 or less you remove 3 of them to make the odds better for the players. To assign the tenants, you're going to take one of the character cards and place it with each of the 2 apartments, as they have one extra tenant, but the farmhouse does not. Once everyone has been dealt their appropriate portion of their cards, each player will take their actions in turn, choosing a card from an opponent's hand, hoping to find a pairing, as player 1 just did, and then preparing for the other turn by passing to the next player. That player then looks at his hand. If he has any immediate pairs, he can play them. If he does not, he then chooses a person to steal a card from as well. In this case, they'll be taking from player 1. Once he's done that, then he's going to see if he has a pair, which he does, and therefore he throws them out of the game if they are rescued. Then he prepares his hand and passes to the next player. Now, player 3 has an interesting situation. He has a zombie and a weapon, and determines that that's probably his best course of action initially is to eliminate one of the zombies. Once he's done so, he can then still also choose to take a person from another person's hand, another character, to see if he's got a pairing, in which case, in this case, he does not, and he'll pass it on to the next player. Each player then in turn will try to make pairs, and we'll be watching them for a couple of turns here as they press through until, player 3 happened to have a relocation card. That means he switches his physical location and his physical hand of cards. Now this occurs during his turn, in which case then he looks to see whether he has any other options. He steals a card from another opponent and hopes that he finds a pairing to that one, which again he does not. I go back to speed play. As you can see, a couple of different turns go by, basically stealing cards and hoping to find pairings and rescuing them as they do so. In certain cases there will be a card play. I think it was coming up right about now. It means you can play a card from your hand into another's. This is usually a good strategy when one person is getting low, to force them to have additional people to trade off, or worse yet, give them a zombie to get rid of. As you come down to the last turn here, player will happen to have a relocation card and send the last person to another shelter, which means he wins. This has been the explainer video for the SJ Trading Company's game Zombie Vill. I hope you appreciated it and enjoyed it. And I hope to see you soon in Zombie Vill.